Hey guys, welcome back to another video about card games. Instead of Pokemon today, we're going to talk about something even more culturally relevant. The 2005 competitive card game based on the anime Zatch Bell. If you aren't a big Billiam fan and missed his review of the series, I'll give you a bit of a synopsis here, so buckle up. Every 1,000 years, there are 100 of these little demons named Momodos that are sent to Earth to fight, Battle Royale style, to see who the new king of their world will be. They fight by using magic powers activated by a human companion who reads their special book. After the other 99 spellbooks are burnt and their respective Momodo sent back to their world, the new king, or queen I guess, will take reign. The Momodo we care about most is the titular Zatch Bell, who with his angsty 14-year-old companion Kyo, wants to become a kind king so he can stop the endless cycle of fighting. Though he still uses violent force to try and reach success, Zatch is extraordinarily caring and he and Kyo make a lot of friends along the way. Even though the action is exciting and the story is fairly interesting, the characters are where Zatch Bell really shines. The Momodos all have such fun and unique designs, and heck, Zatch Bell himself is voiced by Debbie Derryberry, who is also the voice of Nickelodeon's Jimmy Neutron. If that doesn't scream personality, I don't know what does. As for humans, they also have a lot of personality. I like most of them, but you don't need to care about anyone other than the Italian movie star Parco Folgore and his euphonious vocals. It's a good thing too that the characters, demon and human alike, were just so likable, because they were also the backbone of today's topic, the 2005 Bandai Mattel card game Zatch Bell: The Card Battle. Unlike almost every other card game ever, this one does not have decks. Instead, you have your own mini spellbook to put your cards in. I was going to use my spellbook from when I was a kid to do the demonstrations, but it's left at my parents' house, so I guess I'll have to buy a new one. And I guess I should get the special box with the extra packs and extra books just to be safe. Stay tuned, we'll find out what's in those packs at the end of the video. I'll see you all in about a week when the package gets here. And oh wait, subscribe, and like, and comment, and... It's here, and I'm shocked with what I've received. I misunderstood what this sticker said about 2 packs and 2 books, and ended up with 2 more packs and 2 more books than I expected. This means the end of the video pack opening will be all that more exciting. Now we can break down the untraditional method in which this game presents itself. As previously stated, you don't have a deck in this game, but instead a spellbook of 32 cards. Also, you get to order these 32 cards in any way that you wish prior to playing. This makes sense considering how awful it would be to have to shuffle your book and put all the cards back in every time you wanted to play. Every turn, you have to turn the page of your book and only have access to the 2 cards currently open and can't go back without special circumstance. Once you reach the end of your book, you lose, and need to burn it to keep things canon. The rules require the first card in your book to be a Momodo. Coincidentally, this is also the first type of card that we're going to talk about. Momodos act as the basic unit of the game, like a monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or a Pokemon in Pokemon. At most, you're allowed to have 8 of these in your book, but only 3 of them on the field at any given time. My advice for future deck builders is to choose Momodos that you like, because about every card in your book is going to be based around them. Each one of these cards has a base strength and an ability. These abilities are things like allowing you to redo a coin flip or even dealing extra damage. Despite having their power level on the card, they aren't able to use it for anything without the use of another type of card, the spell card. Spell cards are what initiate the battle system in this game, and they can only be used if their specific Momodo is in play. These generally add more strength to your Momodo, and sometimes have their own additional effect. To use a spell, not only do you have to have the right Momodo, and be on the right page, but you need to have the correct amount of MP. At the start and end of every player's turn, they get to collect MP and trade for turning pages of their book, which is necessary to do most of the actions in the game. Some spells only take 2 MP, but some stronger ones may need like 10, so it's best to be smart with how you use it. Spells are also split into 2 categories, being attack spells and defense spells. If it's your turn, you use attack spells. In response to attack spells, you use defense spells. Attack spells are the spells you use to initiate battle, and if you successfully use one, the opponent is damaged by being forced to turn a set number of pages in their book. This means not only do they get closer to losing, but they may even have to skip over important cards. An attack is successful if the power of your Momodo plus the power of the spell is greater than that of your opponent's. Some additional effects that attack spells may have includes making the opponent discard cards after they take damage, or even nullifying the effect of other cards. As for defense cards, they can only be played in response to an opponent's attack. If your defense spell gives you more strength than your opponent, you won't have to turn any extra pages. Just because these spells are meant to protect you instead of causing harm, that doesn't mean they don't have some fun effects too. These could be things like taking extra MP from your opponent, or in rare cases reversing some damage back on the attacker. Unlike the source material, Momotos don't need their human companions to use these spell cards, but that doesn't mean that these friends aren't in the game at all. They have their own category of cards called partner cards. If your biggest issue with the Momotos was that they didn't have 2 special effects, then what you should make sure to have is plenty of partner cards. Or at least have a partner card for every Momoto. This is because you can only play a partner if their respective Momoto is on the field. For example, if I have my Momoto Brago on the field, I can attach his partner, Sherry. The effect of most of these partners is not permanent though, and require you to discard them to activate their effect. Like if I discard Sherry, I can ignore the opponent's Momoto's effects. Some, however, like this British gentleman, have a constant effect as long as they are in play. In his case, you make your opponent discard MP every time they turn the pages of their book. I know there's been a lot to take in, but bear with me, there's only one more category: event cards. Event cards work very similarly to spells, as they cost MP and have attack and defense variants, but the upside is that they don't require specific Momotos to activate. These usually have stronger effects too, because they don't do damage and you can only use one of them per turn. Like this one that doesn't let your opponent use any card effects, or this one where you get to send one of your own Momotos to the discard pile. It probably has a very strategic use, though it's somewhat lost on me. What you may have noticed about these cards is that they have more elaborate artwork, displaying real situations from the show. This is what makes them my favorite cards, cause as much as I love seeing a straight-on image of Zatch, I would much rather see him having fun, like in this card. There are even cards that cover sad moments, like this one. A moment extraordinarily too heavy to make into a collectible trading card. I'm not here to spoil things, but you can kinda get the vibes just from looking at it. Now that we know all the cards, how are they actually used? The best way to figure this out is to take a look at the average turn. At the start of the game, both players put their Momotos down, take 2 MP, and flip a coin to see who's the attacker first. For this example, Brago will be on the offensive. At the start phase of the turn, you can turn the pages of your book anywhere from 0 to 3 times, taking 2 MP for each page. It's nice to not turn pages, because that's essentially giving away your health, but also most spells are going to cost more than the 2 MP you start with. I'm going to turn the page once and take 2 more MP. This is also where applicable card effects would be applied, but obviously we don't have any of those, so we're going to move on to the battle phase. This is where you can play Momoto cards, partner cards, one event card, or most importantly, a spell. I have Brago's partner Sherry, so I will attach it now. To initiate an attack, you need to make sure you have an attack spell, the one with the big ol' A, and show it to your opponent to begin. For my Brago, I'm going to spend 3 MP to use the spell Graveray, which in addition to his base strength of 5,000, makes my attack's total strength a whopping 8,000. The defending Zatch is able to use a defense spell, in this case Zacker. This only brings their strength up to 7,000 though, so the attack is successful. The not-so-defending player now has to turn the set 2 pages in their book, and the turn is over. I'm just kidding. A game like this could never have it be so simple. To avoid turning the page of the book, you can use your defending Momoto to protect the book. This puts it in an injured state as indicated by it facing horizontally. Be careful though, as a Momoto can only protect 2 times before it has to be discarded. Even a Momoto not currently defending can take the place of the active Momoto to defend the book, but this is called sacrificing, though its effects are essentially the same. Unfortunately for Zatch, I have my partner card that makes it so any protecting Momotos are immediately sent to the discard pile. If a turn ends and one of the players doesn't have a Momoto, they are forced to turn the pages of their book until they find one. I built Zatch's book to not have any other Momoto cards though, meaning they can't do anything and I win. GG, shake my hand. Now that we have all that pesky learning to play the game out of the way, let's get into those pack openings. Admittedly, there aren't that many different cards, and so I'm going to zoom through a lot of the more boring ones, but I'll slow down to show off the bangers. Holo Graveray. This is awesome because the spell goes with my Brago deck, but also it's a generally worse version of the spell as I already have it. The exceedingly Digimon-looking Baltro. Hey, it's the British gentleman from earlier in the video. And the holo is Peruk, which I didn't notice while opening doesn't do any damage. Next is a whole pack of duds essentially, though Ko-Peruk is pretty cool. And finally is the only pack from the second series, which generally contains more valuable cards.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
I'm not gonna need this anymore. Zatch Bell was an extraordinarily exciting part of my childhood. I loved the show and I loved the card game. To prepare for this video, I ended up reading the entire manga in just a couple days because I got so hooked. I tried to refrain from giving all of the plot points because I would highly suggest that you check out the manga or the anime for yourself. I don't want to be that guy, but I would suggest the manga more, considering some major plot points were left out of the anime, including the entire final arc. It's only like 323 chapters, it's light stuff. Also, when you're done with that, you'll be ready for the sequel series, Zatch Bell 2, which began just earlier this year. Maybe this means we'll eventually see a sequel to the card game. Until that day comes, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's free, so you will always get your money's worth.